What's up, everybody? This is The Quad with Chris Young. As always, I am Chris. Got Haley the Bear.
Hello.
Producer Josh.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And Ryan from Miami.
It is officially basketball season, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Ryan. I'm right there.
I mean,
with
you're wearing a Sacramento Kings sweatshirt, Josh. So you must admit it is now officially basketball season.
The former Kansas City Kings. Let's just get that away
gotcha.
right there.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, it just decided it was going to absolutely dump snow all over Nashville.
7 to 8 inches.
Yeah, insane.
According to the National Weather Service in Nashville, Nashville's official snowfall accumulation was 7.6 inches. Of that total, 6.3 inches occurred yesterday. That would break the daily snowfall record for Nashville. Normally, the annual snowfall in Nashville is 4.7 inches. So y'all had a white Christmas real late this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it would have been better had that actually occurred on Christmas as opposed to, when I had a whole bunch of meetings planned at Sony, which now have all been moved, and deliveries to my house for things like a washer and dryer, which has now been kicked to next week. And yeah, it did not coincide great with my schedule. Let's just put it that way.
Nashville shuts down if one snowflake falls. So it's just going to be shut down for a couple days, and then it rains next week, and then it'll turn immediately to ice because it drops back down to 7 degrees, and it's just fun, fun times here.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
The reason we're on this Zoom pod is the reason I'm wearing the Sacramento Kings is because I should be in Phoenix right now, getting ready to go to a Suns versus Kings game in Phoenix. I'm not.
How did that work out for you?
I'm in Antioch, Tennessee right now. I am. Let me tell you about my little travel story. So I preemptively, because I'm a seasoned traveler, thought that my flight yesterday would get canceled, which it did. So preemptively, I bought a flight for Sunday night thinking, hey, there won't be that much snow. I'll just be like one of the last ones to get out. No big deal. And I thought that I had done it. I thought that I had worked the magic in my favor. I thought that the travel gods had aligned. And so my flight is at 9:50 p.m. We finally board at 11 p.m. And I'm like, okay, we're boarding. It's going to happen. This is great. And we sit on the tarmac until 2 a.m. because there's a backup of people getting de-iced.
We were one of those people.
Yeah, as I was going to say, you were coming back from Dallas, set for an hour on the tarmac in Dallas, took off, and then set for an hour after we landed in Nashville. So,
so at 2 a.m., the pilots get on and they go, hey, sorry to tell you this, but we've actually timed out of our ability to fly this plane tonight. So it's another 45 minutes before we get back to a gate. It's 2:45 in the morning. Another 30 minutes to get my bag, 3:15. And then again, seasoned traveler, had the foresight to park at the airport because I thought, just in case something happened, I would like to have my car and be able to get home. And as it turns out, the roads were pretty terrible. And I was white knuckling it from there all the way home on 24. Yeah, that was my Sunday into Monday. So
yeah, that's.
I went on the boat yesterday, so I don't know about you guys, but I was out on the boat in the morning.
Ryan,
I was enjoying myself. Yeah, I mean, y'all should have just come down to Florida. I mean, it's chilly. It's 64 right now, so I feel you guys' pain though.
It would have been 68 in Phoenix today. It would have been really nice.
Yeah.
It would have been really great.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, you wanna get to go ahead.
When you say they timed out, it means like they maxed their hours.
Yeah, they couldn't have flown. They have a limited amount of time that they can be in the air
Right.
working. And so basically what happened was they made them wait so long that they couldn't have finished the flight without timing out of their hours.
Yep. This is great.
Good times.
Good
Good
time.
times. Hey Ryan, do you want to give us that poll, that thing that we do every week?
Yeah. Polls are important. We do them every week here at the Quad with Chris Young, and you can always vote in them at on our X account at the Quad with CY. And last week's poll was, which was the first hot take of 2024, which is better, a hard taco or a soft taco? It was close. It was a very, very heavily participated in poll, but with 54.3% of the vote, soft shell taco was the winner, which
Starting out,
I'm a little
starting out
disappointed.
2024 with the win.
That's because
I-
you basic people out there like soft shell tacos, whatever.
I would have thought more people would be interested in double D's, but I guess I don't know our audience as well as I thought I did.
Oh God. Okay. We're just gonna go to music. Getting things kicked off. Again, album drops March 22nd. Very excited to have all that news out there. 18 tracks, one of the biggest records that I've ever done. Actually, the biggest record that I've ever done. And thank you guys so much for showing like all kinds of love on Right Now, being a Grat track that dropped with a full music video that's out there. If you haven't already listened to that, go check it out. And obviously, Young Love and Saturday Nights, the single, still going strong, doing big things. So very excited to have that music out there in the world, and cannot wait for you guys to hear more from this record. I'm glad it's finally got a date attached to it. That's such a huge hurdle when you actually are able to tell everybody when it's coming out, because I've known when it was coming out for a month. You know, we've been filming stuff constantly and working on just videos and content and backloading stuff, and now it's all sort of coming to fruition. So pretty cool to have that out there in the world. Also announced the new tour schedule, so if you haven't checked those dates out, definitely go check those out. Going to be all over the country playing shows and doing some headlining stuff again, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm excited that all of this news is out there in the world for everybody to have access to and get to check out, and cannot wait to see you guys out there on the road.
You gotta hate that when you guys pre-save an album, you can see the name of all the songs, but you can't listen to it. It's a tease.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I was glad to see on there though. Double down. Finally.
If I didn't put that song out on there after all this time, the guys that wrote it might actually show up to my house and physically assault me.
Yeah, in like Polaris is in the snow right now. I think they would.
Yeah,
live
probably.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Josh, updates on
Yeah, I was gonna say, come on.
Oh well, I have a question for you. How on earth, at this point, right, almost 20 years into a career, how do you like put new songs in a set, and then what gets kicked out? Because at this point, like, you either need to go like Springsteen 3-hour set, or do you do a medley? Like what, how do you honor the album that's coming out and all of these new songs that like you're excited to play while also 13 number ones, 13, right? 13, right?
Yeah. So this is sort of how I look at it. I subscribe to the theory of sort of the reverse of the hat that I'm wearing today. Don't get too frisky with the set list. If anyone is just listening audio only, I have a Gurin Brothers hat on that is a cat that says frisky, which I just think is hilarious because I'm a dork. But yeah, I don't try to have more than like 3 new songs in a set. So even if stuff rotates in and out, you know, there's stuff that I have to get to, even without playing all the number ones. You know, a lot of people would be furious if I didn't play On and in a set. and that wasn't a number one. That song only went to 3.
Right.
But a lot of people think of that as the number one song. A lot of people would be mad if I didn't play Neon, depending on where I'm at. A lot of people, so it's tough juggling that. I love that I'm in that situation where it's like people actually want to hear stuff that I may have to take out of the set, but just trying to achieve a good flow, as far as top to bottom with an actual show, and then also looking at probably gonna have to create a new intro for this year, as opposed to what I've been doing in the past. You know, I normally try to go with a song that wasn't necessarily a hit, but maybe this year I go back into having one of the ones that was already a radio hit as the show opened, and put the newer stuff in later. So it's just it's always a balancing act, but I don't want to put too much new stuff in. I think a lot of people fall victim to going, hey, everybody wants to hear all the new stuff. And sometimes they really don't. So it's like, if you give them a couple, that's enough.
Yeah. Is it like tiers? Like there's the I have to play these at every show. And then the next tier is like bubble songs where it's like, it'd be cool if we can get to these, but it depends on the night, depends on the area. And then there's like we filter them in. Like, do you look at it that way, or how do you do it?
I think so. For me, it is, at least. I think it's that way.
One of my favorite things that John Mayer does on tour, and granted, I've seen him way too many times than I want to admit on this podcast, is he does in the middle of his set, he has fans who will bring signs for songs they want played. And in the middle of his set, he'll basically point at a sign and play basically a 5-minute melody of a bunch of different songs mixed together based on signs. I'm advocating for that. So signs, not the movie, but
not well,
songs.
we're gonna sort of get a little close to that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I also think, like you told me, you have quite a few number ones that are all slow songs, and you can't fill a live show with a lot of slow songs.
I mean, you can, but you have to space them out, right? So if I want to play Who I Am With You and Man I Want to Be and Tomorrow, and like I can't put them all back to back, because then it's like,
and Drowning.
Music, it's the country music version of Ambien. Like, people are just going to go take naps.
Ambien or beer break time. Like, oh, I'm gonna need to go get a drink.
Yeah. So you have to space them out. You do have to space them out. That's just the truth.
I think Ultimate Flex just open the show with Tomorrow.
That's such a popular song still, though.
Just flip it on them instead of High Energy. Just like,
just be like, nope, we're gonna do it this way.
Yeah. Single light on you, and just Tomorrow, and everyone will lose their mind. Think about it.
Fine. You know what? I will be selfish this week, though, for what are you listening to. I'm not going to go with Tomorrow, but I will go with Right Now, since that is out right now. So I'm going with my own song this week. Yeah, got to do it sometimes. Got to do it. What about you, Bear? What are you going with?
Well, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm pretty sure you can predict what my song of the week is going to be. And good old TikTok does its thing and reminds me of songs that I forgot about. And this one is going to be Samantha Mumba, gotta tell you, because I saw the TikTok and I was like, oh my gosh, Samantha Mumba, and I have been listening to her since then. So gotta love the throwback.
All of the guys are like,
no idea.
You would know if I played you.
Probably, but off the I take it one hit wonder.
She had only one album, but a couple songs.
Sorry, forgive me for anyone that knows who that is. Like that, I don't even know who that artist is.
Nope.
And I'm normally pretty good about this, but I will admit I have no idea who she's talking about right now. All right, Ryan, go ahead.
I was just gonna let that one breathe for a minute there. I was just gonna let a little nice little pregnant pause.
Come on.
Little nice little pregnant pause. Mine is Megan Maroney's actually gonna be my pick this week. She's got a really good song, Fix You Too, featuring Cameron Marlowe. I love that song. I love
Marlowe,
that track.
not Marlowe.
His name's so weird.
Marlowe. Cameron Marlowe. Not
a wine.
Marlowe. It's
Marlowe. He's not a wine.
Marlowe? Marlowe.
Is there a question mark at the end of his name? What's going on there?
Marlowe?
Cameron Marlowe.
How Marlowe can you go? So
Maybe
Fix
Ron
You Two.
Burgundy?
Fix You Two. It's a great song by Megan Roney. If you haven't heard it yet on her Lucky Deluxe album, check it out.
Awesome. I am going to pick, so there's a little story. So I went back into the studio last week and I tried something completely different this time. Rather than having a song, the usual Nashville way, which is you have a song and then you go in with a band and you have them all record your song. I went in with a group of musicians and we wrote on the spot. I would pull up a groove or I would start playing something on guitar and we would just jam and we would write these songs spontaneously in the moment. And we wrote 2 full ones. And then the third one was a cover. And I think all of these songs will end up coming out. I still need to like work on some lyrics and some vocal stuff. But one of them, we did a cover of King of Wishful Thinking, which is one of my favorite songs from the 80s by the band Go West. So that's going to be my song for this week, but there will be a version of me doing that song that will come out at some point, probably this week.
All right.
So.
Love that.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was like I don't know, I felt like I was 15 again, where it was just like anything was possible. Like before you learn all the rules of what you should or shouldn't do, or what a Nashville session should go like, or what kind of decisions you need to make. I was just a kid playing guitar and mumbling with like the best musicians I knew, all playing incredible stuff. And I've never had so much fun being spontaneous in that moment. And it was really cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, let's go to sports. Yeah, so the NFC East just absolutely imploded on itself.
I saw a good Spider-Man meme of all the NFC East teams just pointing at each other in their different colors, and I lost it. It was pretty fun.
Okay, calm down, Dolphins fan. You don't even want to go. You don't even want to go there. Your track team did exactly what I told you they would do, which is they all got hurt and fell down at the end of the season. One of the most talented teams in the NFL and couldn't muster hardly any points because it was cold outside. I have to say, the Cowboys look better than the Eagles, I guess. God, that's just painful to even say it that way. We looked awful. And by the way, a lot of people are laying it at the feet of Dak Prescott. Look, he threw 2 picks. One of those is not on him. It's just a tip ball. And honestly, the Cooks interception, that guy was all over him before that ball got to him. I don't care. I know I'm going to get hate for it. The Packers beat us. That is 100% the truth.
Wax that ass. Wax that ass.
Not as bad as the Dolphins got beat. Calm it down, Ryan. We at least scored in the 30s. And we can also score when it's under 30 degrees outside, which is evidently impossible for the Dolphins. So there you go.
Dolphins don't like cold.
I just am massively disappointed in that defense, which has been our bread and butter all year long, and they looked terrible. I mean, like 87 kept being open over the middle. Like the scouting report on Love was, if you get him off his spot when he's scrambling, he's terrible. And he picked us apart every time he had to scramble outside the pocket. Micah Parsons finally got a holding call. We still couldn't win.
Yep.
They just fell down. And I do think this is the end of Mike McCarthy's run. I think we got to get rid of him.
Bill Belichick time in
Belichick
Big
time,
D,
buddy.
baby.
It is.
Look, man, I love that idea, but the problem is that he's going to want to have GM decisions, and they will never give those up.
That was one thing that actually came out today, and Bill had mentioned this, that he's okay and comfortable with having a GM ahead of him, which I think is going to fit well with Jerry. Jerry wants obviously
Wow.
creative control. So,
but it's not. See, everybody always says that, but it's not Jerry. There
it's
is a
puppet
guy
master
in
strings,
that
you know?
No, there is a guy in that position with the Cowboys now who is not Jerry. Everybody thinks that it's the same thing it's always been. Jerry is not the one making those decisions.
Either way,
I think
hiring a Bill
Belichick would
Belichick.
I think Belichick would be a great fit. Here's the thing. Bill Belichick looks ahead and he wants to beat Don Shula's all-time wins record. If he does that, he has to go to a team that can at least win 10 games a season for the next
Yeah, but we don't need to win 10 games a season. We need to win a playoff game.
I get that. And that
I feel you.
that will work itself out. I'm just saying what he's looking for in a team. I think he would be a great fit for Dallas, but what he's looking for in a team is they already have to have a quarterback, check. They have to have a defense, check. And they have to have weapons, check. He can just then scheme and coach his way into making them a good team and maybe winning some playoff games. So I think that it's a great fit. I think that
We got to get a left tackle.
have to get a left tackle. You can draft that. You have plenty of shots at the draft. I think it's a no-brainer. And the other thing is, I don't really see any other team that would work for Belichick if that's his goal. There's no other.
I think the only other team that would work if this job came open would be a fellow NFC East team in the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles
if Nick Sirianni is fired, Bill Belichick
just
would
doesn't
be an
feel
option.
like the right fit. Can you see
That's not-
Belichick with the Eagles? No way.
No, because Belichick doesn't want that type of quarterback.
I don't think so. And I don't think like the other one would be maybe the Jets. I don't think that's a good fit. I don't
Or
think
the Chargers, but I don't think
they don't
that's
have a
going
defense.
to work
Their
there
defense
either.
is trash.
They have no defense. They have no defense whatsoever. If the
I-
Dallas Cowboys barely have one, the Chargers have none.
I think that Dallas makes the most sense. He takes over as head coach. Dan Quinn's going to go get a head coaching job somewhere, probably Washington or Atlanta.
He
And I-
should not have a
Dan
job
Quinn
anywhere.
shouldn't have a job after that. Fuck. I can't say
Oh,
that word. Sorry.
Fault of a game is what you were trying to say. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Dan Quinn should not
Fumble
have.
is what you were trying to say. Fumble.
I hate
fumble.
going after somebody else's wallet and somebody else's pocketbook. Maybe he gets a chance somewhere else, but
Someone reminded me that he was the one, he was the defensive coach back when the Falcons lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yes,
How
he
does
was.
he even have a job after that loss?
well, you know what? Our defense looked great all year up until this last game, and I don't know exactly what went down. Look, the one thing I can look forward to next year is we're gonna have Diggs opposite Bland.
Right.
And maybe if we can get him on another 1-year deal, Stephon Gilmore again for another year.
I think, and guess who Stephon Gilmore used to play for? Bill Belichick.
I
I
would
think-
rather see Pete Carroll, but
No.
Oh God, no.
Mhm.
no.
I think this is
I
how
want
it's
to see
gonna-
Pete Carroll on the Bears because
No.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Take him.
Here's what I
Take
think. Here's what I think. Fortune teller Josh has some predictions. Are you ready?
Yes,
Go ahead.
let's do it. Josh Stradamus.
Josh Stradamus.
Josh
is back.
Stradamus.
I think that Bill Belichick will go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Sorry, we need some like special effects here. So
I think Pete Carroll will revive his USC days and go to the LA Chargers to bring some life back. I think that Harbaugh ends up on the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think that your Chicago Bears are going to trade Justin Fields to the Atlanta Falcons for the number 8 pick. And they will have 1, 8, and 9. And I will go another step. I think that they will then trade 8 and 9 to whoever's in the 4 spot. I can't remember who's there right now. The Arizona Cardinals. They're going to trade 8 and 9 to the Arizona Cardinals, and they will choose Caleb Williams, number 1, and
Marvin
Harrison Jr. number 4. And that is what the Chicago Bears will do in this offseason.
I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. goes number 4. I think he goes before that.
I think the other 3 teams need quarterbacks before they need wide receiver depth, and I think that this is how it's going to play out.
That was a lot. That was a
You really
lot
think
of.
the Bears would be that smart? You really think the Bears are going to be that smart? Because they haven't made one right decision.
I do. I think they're going to be that smart.
Correction, they've made one good decision, and that was getting rid of Getsy, but they got rid of everybody except for Eberflus, and he needs to go. So whatever.
Last little note, because I'm not even going to harp on your Dolphins, Ryan.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't want to talk about the fact that the longest playoff drought now in NFL history resides with the Miami Dolphins, who haven't won a playoff game since December 30th, 2000?
Is this
You know what? It's amazing. It's amazing how that never gets brought up. It's always the Cowboys, even though they've won more recently than most teams.
Or did you also want to talk about the fact that the Miami Dolphins and Patrick Mahomes have the same number of playoff wins in the last 50 years?
I mean, we can talk about that if you want to.
Listen. All right. Let me get it off my chest. All right.
Go ahead.
Get it off my chest. And I know what Josh is going to pull up. He's going to pull up the double text. Tua the Savior. I'm done with Tua. Like, I know it's already there.
It's
I
the
get
greatest
it.
thing that's ever happened in my life. I just want you to know that.
I know it's already there. This is a team, and I told you, I saw when we were 9-3. I knew it. I said,
doing it to him, man.
I did. They keep doing it.
Keep doing it to him.
To us. They keep doing it to us.
To
Yes,
us.
they do. Look, Tua Tagovailoa, and you look at what he did against. There's the text. Is this you're bringing it up? Yes, here it is. It is. Tua the Savior has arrived. Tua sucks. What's the timestamp on between those two texts?
18 minutes.
Okay, 18 minutes. 18
Perfect.
minutes, which is about the level of excitement of time I had for the Dolphins this season. 18 minutes before they literally pooped down their leg and crapped out of the playoffs, going from potentially number one seed in the AFC facing the Ravens to getting embarrassed by Kansas City in a game where you muster one touchdown, and it was a lucky touchdown to Tyreek Hill down the field. Tua, in those 3 games against the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs, completed 56% of his passes for 5.9 yards per attempt and a 66.5 passer rating. He was bad, but I don't put it all on him. Look, yeah, injuries definitely played a part of this. The Dolphins were without a lot of their top dogs, a lot of them. It's hard to overcome all of those guys that they were missing. And when I tell you all of those guys, I mean literally 6 to 7 playmakers.
I believe I said this earlier in the season, Ryan.
You did.
This was going to happen to this team.
You said the wheels would fall off. And they did.
This team is built like a track and field team. They're all really fast. The problem with having a whole bunch of really fast guys on one team is all it takes is somebody pulling a hamstring or hurting an ankle.
And that was it. And it was Waddle and it was Hill that were injured, and Tua was injured towards the end of the season. Look, and I don't want to use the injury excuse. This is a team that had a chance to win the top seed in the East or win the top seed in the AFC, win the division at home, lost that, and then got embarrassed in the third coldest playoff game and third coldest game in NFL history. However, to that text, Josh, you can't move on from Tua Tagovailoa. And I say that because the Dolphins have a quarterback. They don't have an elite quarterback, but they have a quarterback, which is more than most teams in the league can say. So I think you have your 5th-year option this year, which is going to pay him some 23, 24 some odd million. It's going to be a lame duck season for Tua. You're never going to get a year again, in my opinion, where he plays all 18 games. He did that this season. So he passed the health test. He led the league in passing yards. He was one of the league leaders in touchdowns. He absolutely looked lost towards the end of the season. But this is where I think this team needs to make adjustments. Tua outside of the pocket has to be a better quarterback. He's not. When things break down after 2.5 seconds, he's lost. And that has to be learned this offseason. And I do believe they're going to make those adjustments. But for me, and just to the mediocrity that I've experienced with this team, I mean, they went 18 consecutive years with a losing record. All right. Yes, they have not won a playoff game since 2000, but they have made the playoffs now 3 straight years in a row. There's progress as an organization. I'm seeing progress as an organization. I'm not happy. I'm despondent. I'm crushed when they lost in Kansas City. But you have to go through those pain points to get there. And they're seeing a steady climb and rise, kind of like the Detroit Lions, right? I think Miami's on a similar path to that. So I'm hopeful. I'm excited. I'm truly.
Lions won a playoff game.
They did. But it took what? Dan Campbell's in his 3rd year here, right? They were really bad. Jared Goff said that. We were really bad 3 years ago. And then they instilled belief and they went through some of that heartache and pain and finally broke through. I think the Dolphins are on the cusp of that. So you take the lessons learned this year, you try to figure out a better way to finish in December, And I think this is a different outcome with a healthy squad. But you got to keep Tua. You can't move on from him. It's going to be a lame duck year for him, but he's got to prove it next year before you give him that massive $300 million extension.
I respectfully disagree with you on the trajectory of the Miami Dolphins. The difference between the Lions and the Dolphins, where the Lions at the end of last year, even after being eliminated, went in and won the last game of their season. They were trending upward. That extended all the way into this season, which has now led to them winning their first playoff game since 1992 or whatever it was.
1991.
91. Great. I think we've seen the best part of the Miami Dolphins already at this point. And I don't think that you're going to get a better year, regular season year out of Tua than you did this year, because you're not going to get more games out of him.
Well, and how much longer does Tyreek Hill have at the level?
Tyreek Hill said that at the end of this contract, he wants to retire, which is this next coming season. You had a 1-of-1 year from Tyreek. You had a 1-of-1 year for Jalen Waddle.
And Mostert, who went absolutely bonkers this year. I think some of this blame is at Mike McDaniel being too cute. I think that you nailed it when you texted and said, or no, you tweeted this. You said 3rd and 14, and you do that play.
So not the smartest guy in the room.
Not the smartest guy in the
I
room.
think he got exposed. He got exposed at the later half of the season. He definitely got exposed.
I think that he is talented. I think that some of his schemes are awesome and his motions are awesome. And I think that you can get too cute in this. And I've watched this because the Chiefs get too cute every once in a while. And they pull a trick play out of something. And you're just like, can you just throw the effing ball to...
Oh, they did that. No, they did that. They threw the effing ball to Rashee Rice. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
So I get it. Real recognizes real. I know when teams are getting too cute for their own sake, right? And I think you have to lay this on him. Health matters, absolutely. If you don't have your squad, you don't have your squad. That's same for the Cowboys. That's same for the Dolphins. That's same for any team that gets into the postseason, because everyone's kind of limping to the finish line. Health is one of the biggest parts of the NFL at this point. But I don't know that it's going to get better next year. You know, in Moneyball, when they're like, "Hey, you did this," and he looks at his owner and he's like, "We're not going to be better next year. We're getting gutted. We're losing Isringhausen." Remember that scene? That is where the Dolphins are at. I don't know that you're going to get better performances from your top guys next year.
One last level of self-deprecation before we move on. I'd like to let you know what had transpired the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game, which was in 2000. LeBron was a high school freshman. Tom Brady hadn't yet been drafted. Metallica fired a lawsuit against Napster. They filed a lawsuit against Napster.
Metallica would be like the
Metallica. Yes.
Why you pronounce
the emphasis on the wrong syllables today is getting me.
The Knicks were the defending Eastern Conference champions, and of the top 3 songs on the Billboard 100, 2 of them were by Santana. That was the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game.
That was a Patrick Ewing Knicks team, by the way, just so we're clear.
That was the last time Stephen A. Smith was happy.
Right.
At least the Bears have been to the Super Bowl since then.
Okay. Before we move on, I do want to point out the Cowboys might be in the same situation. We had an epic year out of Dak, Pollard, CeeDee Lamb,
Land.
It could be the same sort of thing, man. I mean, I'm not trying to
I was about to say not with the change of coaches, because then you're kind of starting from the bottom.
We'll see. I would love for that to happen. I hate saying that about McCarthy because I'm obviously somebody, if you go back far enough in my quotes, I believed McCarthy was the right guy for the job. And I do think he had a shot. But when you get blown out first round of the playoffs after 16 straight home wins, having the second seed and basically the possibility to stay at home all the way up into the Super Bowl if the 49ers go down and you can't beat your old team with a young QB. I'm sorry, you showed us everything you got. We appreciate you being here, but it's time to move on from McCarthy, in my opinion.
It was the right move. I think McCarthy was the right move after Jason Garrett, for sure. Like getting rid of the clapper, and I think that was the best possible hire you can make at that point. And I think right now Bill Belichick would be the best possible hire that you could make at this point. So I think of it in seasons. That season's done. Time to hit some reset.
And congrats on your Chiefs.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Yeah.
But do you think the Chiefs go on after the Bills?
I think that I don't want to get too excited about all of this, okay? But our path to the AFC Championship has never looked better. Right now, I'm not scared of the Bills. I think the Bills have been playing do or die, win or go home for so many weeks that eventually, one week it's going to catch up with them.
This will be Patrick Mahomes' first playoff game outside of a Super Bowl away from Arrowhead. Yeah,
correct. That's fine. We went on the road, not a big deal. I feel pretty good. I think Rashee Rice has figured out some stuff. I think that we have learned that even if Travis Kelce isn't old Travis Kelce, we can still eke out some wins. And we play the Bills super well every single time. All of those games over the last couple of years have been within 3 points. So,
I mean, let's be honest. I hate to flex, but Rashee Rice figured some stuff out on my fantasy team this year too.
Yes, he did, and I was on the receiving end of 2 weeks of that garbage. Before we move on from the NFL, can I just workshop next weekend slate with some betting stuff?
Look, hey, you can do whatever you want. This past weekend was possibly my worst betting weekend of the year.
I made so much money this last weekend. I'm sorry, I bet on the Packers and I bet on the Bucks. And
I'm glad for you because I don't really bet on my own team, but the things that I bet on all missed. I didn't hit a single thing this weekend.
All right, so talk me through this because I'm trying to put together a 4-legger of the 4 games. Okay,
which 1-800-bets off if anybody has a gambling problem.
Don't ever bet money that you don't intend to lose. So
yes.
First off, Lions over Bucks, just the money line.
I agree.
Okay.
I would go Bucks, but
no, the Lions are gonna.
After what the Lions did to the Rams, I think the Lions can actually make the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I agree.
49ers over Packers.
Yep.
Okay. I'm taking the over of the Texans Ravens. The line is at 44.5.
I like that because with CJ Stroud going off the way he's going off, I think it becomes a shootout.
But do we know what the weather's going to be like?
I don't, but I feel like both of those offenses can score at least 20 something points. So that the hitting over on 44.5 feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Chiefs are getting plus odds right now.
Don't fall for this trap. That's your team, man. Don't bet on your team, Josh.
I think that there should be a rule in betting that if you get plus money with Patrick Mahomes, you take your plus money with Patrick Mahomes. Now, if you bundle those 4 things together, Lions, Niners, the over for the Texans, Ravens at 44.5, and the Chiefs, you get plus 639.
I'm locking it in right now with you, Josh. Locking it in.
I don't know,
now.
Man. I don't know. You don't want to be crushed twice. You don't want to be crushed because your team loses and because you took the points.
Well, the Chiefs are the last game of the whole thing. So if the other thing, you can cash out. This is, again, part of the strategy of life is you take plus money on Patrick Mahomes and cash if all the other 3 hit.
All right, shoot me a photo. I'll ride with you.
Yeah, let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
Let's
Oh, it's a full quad?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
I'm going to go the opposite.
No. All right.
Quad ride.
All right.
Putting it in.
Either one of you guys watched the movie?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. So we can go to it. All right, let's go to movies. The movie this week is No One Will Save You. If you guys were not with us last week, we always give you the movie a week in advance, let you watch it. And this is one of the ones that I watched over the break. And then I wanted everybody to get a chance to check this out. It is PG-13 2023 horror/drama, an hour and 33 minutes, very succinct. And it says Bryn finds solace within the walls of the home that she grew up in until she's awakened one night by strange noises from unearthly intruders, which is a very, very vague way of saying there's aliens in this movie. Which that's not a spoiler if you watch any of the trailer. I really liked this movie for two reasons. I thought it was one, a blend of A Quiet Place and Signs, but two, they didn't shy away from showing the monsters. And I thought they did a really great character design. This was like sort of Guillermo del Toro-esque in a lot of ways with the actual monster design for this film. And I thought it was really, really well done. And I liked the end. So, Josh, I'm intrigued to see what you thought about this.
I liked, I didn't love. I liked. It was enjoyable. I disagree with you in I don't like them when they show the monsters or the aliens. I don't like it. I liked the suspense of Signs where you only saw it.
Oh no, I will. Wait. Let me qualify that since now I feel like I led you down the wrong path a little bit. I think Signs is a better movie.
Yeah.
I like Signs because for me personally, that scene where you sort of see it in the VHS footage at the birthday party when
Right.
he's in the basement is
Right.
the scariest thing that I had seen in a long time because it is so withheld. And then when you actually, to me, I didn't get the feeling of at the end of Signs where you see the alien, it's just like nothing. It's a big nothing burger because you see it. I did not necessarily feel that way watching this movie. I thought they did a good enough job with the way that they animated it that it came across more like when you see the creatures in A Quiet Place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I feel like it was a blend of those movies. I liked each one of those movies more than this one, but I thought this was like a cool, like little hidden gem.
It felt like a well done lower budget version of those two movies. What I liked about it, I liked that she doesn't talk except for one line. I
Yeah.
liked her communication style. It was just how they told the story, especially towards the beginning of just like what she's doing, why she's by herself, etc. And I liked the very first scene of the aliens with like some of the electricity stuff going on and the lights in her like little miniature town sort of coming. Like I thought some of that set stuff was done really well, better than some of those other movies. But it was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't unenjoyable. It was
It was good, not great.
It was good, not great. And I think that what the other two movies, Signs and Quiet Place, had for me also is like, I think they were just cast super well. I think this girl was really good, but it was actors I already liked. So I felt already bought in from like the very get-go of the movie, as opposed to I kind of have to decide that I like her. It still takes me a while through the movie to decide that I hope that she does okay. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it was good.
I liked the pacing of it and how they ended up telling, and then you kind of create your own idea of what happened and why the town people don't like her. And then eventually, like in my head, I was like, what did this girl do? And then it came down to spoiler alert, when they were little girls. And in my head, when I finally saw that, I was like, damn, these town people hold a long grudge against some little girl. But I do like how they did the ending and how she chose to live and was basically living in her own little town that she built. That the aliens basically created that what her visual was to be happy. They created that for her, and she was basically living in that setup that she put together. So I like how that was in the end. Like the world still was basically over and run by aliens, but she got the happy ending.
I love a good happy ending.
Brian. All right. Well, for next week,
I have a suggestion. I have a suggestion for next week.
what's your suggestion?
So, have you guys seen Lift on Netflix with Kevin Hart? It's a heist movie. It's like an action comedy heist movie. It's actually pretty good.
No. Have you already watched it?
I'm in the process. I've got about 25 minutes left in it. So it's pretty good. Hour and 44 minutes. So it's a
coming
quick
out
one.
in the movies?
Beekeeper with Jason Statham, which I've heard is pretty good.
Oh, because it's been a while since we've been to the movies.
Yeah, there's
Why don't we do Lift and then Beekeeper?
there's
Action movies.
There's Night Swim. There's
No.
Anyone
No.
But
Doing Night
You,
Swim.
the rom-com with my dude Glenn Powell. There's not much.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm not against watching Lift. I haven't really heard
Yeah.
anything good about it. So if you've already seen most of it, Ryan, you think it's good, then we can do that.
Yeah, I think it's action packed. It's got a little like tension between romance with Kevin Hart and one of the other acting stars in it. So I think it's pretty good, and it's a smooth and easy watch. So I think it'll keep you intrigued. So Lift
All right.
from
right.
from Netflix.
We'll do that. And let's end with the hot take.
What was that, Josh? Was that a little tease of a hot take?
I didn't hear anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I did. What? Huh?
Wait a minute.
Huh?
No? Okay.
So what we're going with this week is the best tribute song to someone that we lost. And that may sound very vague, but for example, the one that I'm going to pick is See You Again.
And that was a tribute to Paul Walker.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of brought this up because in my head, like when I was listening to some songs, I'm like, they don't make tribute songs like they used to. And To See You Again is, I would say, the most recent, and that one's done really well. But to me, the best tribute song that has ever existed is the one for Notorious Big, and that's I'll Be Missing You.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, what?
What did I say?
What did you just say?
B.I.G..
Notorious Big?
Big, B-I-G, whatever. You
Biggie.
didn't talk. I know,
No,
but
Bear,
that's why
Bear.
I normally would just call him Biggie. So that's why I said Big. Go with me here. So
No, we
I don't think
can't. We
anybody's going
can't.
with
We
you.
can't go with you. We can't go with you. Oh no.
fine. I always
love
say
this
Biggie,
feud
but
with
I'm reading
Tupac.
on the screen and it says Big. So Biggie, I'm just gonna go with Biggie because that's normally what I say. But
I'll Be Missing You is
I'll
the
be
song that
missing
she's
you.
going for.
And to me, that's still the best ever song for someone that has passed.
I think Ryan was
artist.
the only one that heard my joke. That was great.
What
I
did you
did.
say?
I said I loved his feud with Tupac.
Wasn't that a video game, Tupac?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Pac-Man. Sorry.
For some reason, when you said "See You Again" in the notes, I thought it was the Miley Cyrus song.
No,
In
dude.
my-
Come on.
And I was like, that is such a weird choice.
Oh, come on, Josh.
My bad. So mine is It Was Everywhere. You couldn't get away from it. It already existed once, and then Princess Diana died, and then it just was everywhere. And Candle in the Wind was just, you couldn't avoid it. You couldn't get away from that song in that moment. It was everywhere. It was every funeral. It was every moment of 1996 or whatever year that was. And
Who was it originally written for?
I don't know. But the Princess Diana
Josh
version,
doesn't know the history about it. It's obviously Notorious Big.
yeah,
Um,
he wrote it about.
It says
B.I.G.
released in
Balls.
1973 by Elton John. It says when
Yeah.
it was released.
Yep.
All right, Ryan, you got a fourth one to add to this?
I do. I do. And this is inspired by my father, who took me to, I guess, my second concert. My first concert was Shania Twain, but my second concert ever was Eric Clapton. So Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton is every time I hear that song, it brings chills, and it's just such a sad song. So Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton is my choice. We got some good ones here though.
A great list.
All right. Yeah, we're kind of all over the place with these. I like it. I'm very intrigued to see what everybody picks and what everybody votes for. But as always, make sure you go vote for your favorite song for this week's poll. And yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying the snow. If you've got snow where you are, if you are in Florida like Ryan, then you're enjoying the sunshine.
Yes, sir.
And
Boat days.
We love you guys. As always, keep listening to The Quad with Chris Young. From me, Haley, Ryan, and Josh. We love you guys.